Welcome back to DIY M3. This is part 2 of the 2-part video of the wing mirror removal and strip due to corrosion. As you can see, my mirrors have suffered heavily on their mirror bases over the time due to being aluminium, and it just gets underneath and furs up, so it just pickles the paint. So I'm going to show you today just how to strip the base from the case, so you can save yourself on the labour cost at a body shop just to have those repainted. All you're going to need is some basic tools: T20 screwdriver, T15, any type of pry tool or even a flathead screwdriver, just something to get the glass out. First off, we're going to start, well, I say we're going to start, unfortunately or fortunately, one way or the other, my mirror glass is already broken, so I don't have to be quite as careful as you. But if you push it all the way up, you'll create the gap. Doing so, you'll be able just to put your pry tool in. Like I said, I don't have to be as careful as you guys because mine's already broken, but that just literally pops out and lifts off. You'll reveal 2 electrical connectors. They're just push fit. Pull them straight off, and that will reveal inside your mirror. Once the glass is removed, you can place that to one side. I've obviously got a new one on order due to mine being broken, but you can really see just how bad the corrosion is getting. Taking the glass out is more for the guys that have asked about the motor operation. It's more just an insight on how to give them access to removing that. So we'll go get started removing these screws and I'll give you a walkthrough. So inside you're going to have a series of T15 screws. You need to undo the 3 behind the actual base. One. 2. And number 3. And that is then going to allow you to remove the mirror glass mount, revealing this electrical connector. The electrical connector is just a pull. Excuse the dirty hands, it's filthy in there. Which will then show you these. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 retaining screws. Again, they're all T15. Put those to one side, and then you will see your motor. You can see there's one retaining screw just here that's left holding all of that on. So we're going to undo him. That then is going to allow you to remove that in just a second. So obviously it's off the car, wiring's loose, you've got this little foam insert, just need to get into one corner of that, prise that out gently. You want to keep that intact because this is the only difference between this mating to the car, and it will affect the wind noise inside the car. You can see now I've revealed 2 T20 screws. Just going to whip them out. 1 and 2. and then the two are going to separate freely. So now you can see the motor is what some of you guys have been asking for. Grab a little pick tool, and all we're going to do is free the bung from its little recess. Go. So the bung is now through. As you can see, the gap is going to be too small for the plug to go through. So I searched for hours on the internet of how you're supposed to separate the two, thinking, do I get it from here? Do I have to cut the wire in? In fact, all you actually have to do is, like we went through earlier, remove the grey clip, slide that down. And then if you grab a thin flat bladed screwdriver, pop one side of the clip off, that'll make it easy to pop the other side off. Remove that entirely. And if you look close, you'll see that there's just a little tab within that connector. I found it easiest to try and pry ever so slightly just between the two. In between the two slots, just enough to lift the tab away. And then what I did was push through from underneath. And what that does, reveals a secondary clip. So in fact, that's just a case. So just gone through editing and realised that you can't really see what I'm talking about, the bit that I was searching the internet for hours. This is the plug that clearly, when you want to get it through the hole, as you can see, that is not going to fit through the gap. So what you in fact need to do is pull that through. And on here I was saying about the grey, so there's the tab here, push the tab in, that will release the grey tab back to a point where it will click. Get a little flat blade screwdriver and you can just get an edge just to pop one side of the cap off. If you then spin it and do the same the other side, that whole cap can then be removed. Leave that down. This was the next part. So looking at that case, you'll see on the inside there's just a tiny little tab, and on the back there's a hole. If you get a little flat blade in between these two gaps, so up in between the two, it will just prise it away. Not much, you don't have to push hard, just enough to separate the gap. And then on the back of it, in that hole that I showed you, if you just give it a gentle little push, that will just release, revealing the outer shell and the clip. Now when you go to pull through, it will come out. In turn, making it small enough to come through the hole and reveal just our base plate, ready to get off and get painted. So as you can see, with a few tools and a basic bit of knowledge, hopefully now I can share that with you. An easy save I rang up for a quote at a local body shop and I got quoted £150 for stripping the door cards, getting them separate. Whether they'd have even split these, I don't know. But for peace of mind and for me to know that I'm getting a proper job and get it stripped back and can give them the base plate alone, I got that down to £50, which is a big saving for all of us at the minute, especially in the times that we're in. And for the sake of 25, 30 minutes max really, for anyone competent with a couple of screwdrivers and, you know, a little bit of know-how, it's an easy fix. I hope you all like the video. If you do want to leave a comment, anything I missed, anything I didn't do, even videos that you'd like to see in the future of DIYs on the M3, more than happy to take it all on board, and I look forward to growing with you all soon.